The first set of dishes that we will be discussing for regional cuisine would be from Region 1, Ilocos, covering Ilocos Norte, Ilocos Sur, La Union, Pangasinan, Cordillera Administrative Region, including Abra, Apayao, Benguet, Ifugao, Kalinga Mountain Province, Region 2, Cagayan Valley, Batanes, Cagayan, Isabela, Nueva Vizcaya, Quirino, and Region 3, Central Luzon, Aurora, Bataan, Bulacan, Nueva Ecija, Pampanga, Tarlac, and Zambales. So before we begin with the dishes, we know that the regional cuisine is much influenced by our history, topography, geography. That's why our cuisine is very diverse and distinct. While some may share similarities, they are distinct in the flavoring agents that they use, depending on which region you are. Okay, so um, let's have our first set of dishes, pakbet, composed of your fruit vegetables flavored with your bagoong and with some pork added in it, pinapaitan, which is flavored by your bile. That's why it's distinctly bitter and could be made of goat or beef. Empanada, empanadas, Ilocano empanada is quite unique because of its crunchy texture, um, the vegetable and the egg filling. And of course, bagnet, which is deep fried pork belly. Now, basi is a fermented sugarcane juice popular in Ilocos Norte. We also have vegan longanisa, bonoan boneless bangus. So again, there are dishes which are named after specific places, like bonoan. And you can see here that the cuisine features would include vegetables, bagoong, goat meat, and internal organs, like your dinengdeng, okay, or also known as inabraw, which which is comprised of your dried fish, saluyot, vegetables, and again bagoong, and dinaldalem or igado. Okay, so this is sautéed pork organ meat, specifically liver. Other examples would be sinanglao, which is your goat spare ribs with liver, ginger, and rice washing. Dinardaraan is the Ilocano dinuguan with your pork bloods too. Bagwisen is also composed of pork organ meats, pork blood, and vinegar. Dinakdakan, okay, um, which is your chopped pig's ears and thickened by your and flavored by your cow's brain. And poki poki, which is your Ilocano egg and eggplant dish. Okay, so you see here your some examples of your some examples or illustrations, photos of these dishes. Okay, the first one here is sinanglao, and then dinardaraan here, like your dry dinuguan, bagwisen here, just below your sinanglao, dinakdakan. Here's the larger um, photo here and your poki poki. Tupig. Okay, so very popular in Pangasinan, which is made from your rice and coconut. At the bottom here, just below your tupig is your pigar or your deep fried cara beef topped with onion and cabbage. Binunge or your sticky rice with coconut cream. Kaliskes, okay, or intestines. Puto Calasiao. Okay, so it's named after a place no in Pangasinan, Calasiao. These are very small puto, no, only without the cheese on top, which we are more familiar with. Okay, so in the Cordilleras, they have pinikpikan. Okay, pikpik is to hit repeatedly. Okay, so this dish is similar to chicken stew or tinola. Okay, etag or salted or smoked cured meat. Okay, palileng is their freshwater fish of Abra, best cooked in tomatoes, onion, garlic, and vinegar, no, like ginisa. And um, abuos, your ant eggs. Also in the Cordilleras, they have kintoman, okay, so, or your red, brown, black varieties of rice. Pinuneg, their blood sausage. And sinorsur refers to a cooking method which makes use of your young bamboo shoot. So you're cooking the uh, dish, no, in your bamboo shoot. Now, the Cordilleras are also known to cook horse, goat, dog meat. So different types of meat aside from um pork. Tapoy is a drink from glutinous rice that is fermented with bubod. Okay, so it has a long history among the mountain tribes in the Cordilleras. In Batanes, you see here an array of seafood. Okay, so like your tatus or your coconut crab, dibang, your flying fish, lumot or your seaweed soup, your sea urchin, and your uvod balls or your banana heart with ground meatballs. So they're very rich in seafoods. In Cagayan, so the Cagayan region are producers of tobacco, rice, root crops, and vegetables. And like the Ilocanos, they are also um, known to use bagoong. Okay. So they also have bisukol, which is your snail um, flavored with bagoong and rice washing. Nilanig or broiled fish added with liver, bagoong, and your vegetables and made into a stew. Tinimtim, you have their saluyot, bagoong kalamansi, and lininta is your dulong with ginger, onion, and calamansi in banana leaves. So while I'm discussing this in the context of Cagayan, in the whole of the Ilocos region, these are all also common fare. Pawa is your soft or to wrap. Okay, means to wrap. Soft ground glutinous rice with sweetened peanuts. This is a delicacy in Cagayan. Pinakufu, this one below, is like your carioca. And sinanta is your noodle soup. In Tuguegarao, you have your pansit batil patong, which is composed of your noodles, your cara beef chicharon egg. In Isabela, what's popular is pansit kabagan. Okay, so like this one in the middle, it's like a soupy noodle dish. Okay, a soupy pansit. Inatata, or this one here, is the suman of Isabela. Okay. By the way, batil patong is composed of mixed toppings with a beaten egg placed on top. Okay, thus the name batil patong. In Bulacan, They're popular for their chicharon. Okay. Gurguria. Here, this one, like your pilipit. Corbata de cebo. Your pinaso, which is your crushed crackers with milk, sugar, eggs flavored with dayap, a citrus fruit, and then scorched, and your empanada de Calisqui. So they have now a different version of the empanada. And Central Luzon is known for producing fresh fruits, vegetables, sugar, okay, poultry, and livestock. So you see here a list of sweets like your belikoy from Bulacan. So it's composed of your flour, sugar, sesame seeds, and vanilla. Just below belikoy is Silvana from Nueva Ecija. The one here on your right is your tibok-tibok in the upper right, which is made from Carabao milk and latik. I would imagine this would look like your maha blanca. Botolan linga, okay, which is a version of like a sesame brittle. Okay, so this is sweet of sambales. I- Central Luzon is also known for different fermented products like balaw-balaw or fermented shrimp, balo-balo or fermented rice with shrimp, garlic, and tomato and buro. Okay, and also longganisa. In Balanga, Bataan, you have tinapang bangus. Okay, taba ng talangka is also common in Central Luzon. So in Pampanga, um, sought for dishes would include cured meats like tocino, tapa, and exotic foods like dog's meat, frogs, lizard eggs, locusts, and burong talangka. Okay, so aside from that, they are also known for their morcon, which looks more like embutido, no, but it's morcon, no, very flavorful, tasty ground meat. Okay, pansit luglog and bringhe. Okay, so this is made from your rice, could be glutinous rice, colored with turmeric, and then added with coconut milk, and you have also there your chicken. Now, again, common or sautéed pork organ meats like in binagis. Okay, so here in your upper left, or bagis like dinaldalem. Tinumis here, just below binagis, is pork blood, and tamarind leaves. So it's like a paler version of dinuguan, but flavored with your tamarind leaves. Sisig, like this one on top, they say that the original sisig doesn't have egg. Okay, so added egg, the original ones. So they use pork cheek, liver, onion, and squeezed with calamansi. Your tamales here is made from rice, chicken, achuete, and egg. I've mentioned exotic dishes. Okay. So kamanyang here is made from your squash, sitaw, tomatoes, and shrimp. Okay. But the more exotic ones would be kamaru or your Mole crickets, adobo style, deep fried tomatoes and onion. I think those from if we have Kapampangan reviewees would have a better the pronunciation of these dishes. Um, Batute tugak is your stuffed frog. Okay, and pindang kalabaw. Okay, so this is your marinated cara beef and could also be fermented. Okay, so that's why it has a distinct flavor. There are of a lot more dishes in Pampanga because they're really known to be a culinary melting pot. But I did not mention all of them. I just mentioned some, which I think are quite distinctive of the region. NCR, Calabarzon, and Mimaropa. So for NCR, Manila, Caloocan, Quezon City, Pasay, Las Piñas, Makati, Malabon, Mandaluyong, Marikina, Muntinlupa, Navotas, Pateros, Parañaque, Pasig, San Juan, Taguig, Valenzuela. I hope I mentioned them all. Region 4A, Calabarzon, Cavite, Laguna, Batangas, Rizal, and Quezon. Region 4B is Mimaropa, Mindoro, Marinduque, Romblon, and Palawan. So let's look at the dishes, no, which are famous in these um, provinces. So we have here Pansit Malabon. So this is in NCR, Pansit Malabon, uh, Putong Pulo. So again, it's named after a place. So Pulo is in Valenzuela. Balut in Pateros. In Batangas, we have Culao. Okay. So Southern Tagalog is known for their rice, their fruits, their vegetables, beef, citrus fruits, coffee, and coconut. So Colao is made from banana blossom, eggplant, coconut, vinegar, and onion. So this is the first pictures that you see here. Sinaing na tulingan, it's flavored with kamyas, dried kamyas, because they have a lot of these in Batangas, and cooked in a palayok for the best flavor. Bulalo, okay. This is now how it is served in restaurants in Tagaytay, and bulanglang. Okay, so how do you cook bulanglang? It's just all your vegetables flavored with ginger. So in Batangas, tawilis um is where you can find, no, because of the Taal Lake, no, they're popular for their tawilis. Okay, deep fried crispy tawilis. Goto, their goto is different in that it doesn't have rice, okay, or glutinous rice. Okay. Adobong dilaw, again colored with turmeric or luyang dilaw with some some would add coconut milk, and their lomi, which has a particular consistency and texture because of the cassava flour, which is used as a thickening agent. Espasol, buko pie. Okay, so this is popular in Laguna. Okay, so espasol is made from your rice flour and coconut milk, buko and sugar. Okay, quesong puti, the one that you have here on your bottom left, and puto binyan. Again, it's named after a place. In Quezon, pansit habhab, kinulob na itik in Victoria, Laguna, and laksa. Okay, so which means 10,000. So it's made from a combination of different vegetables like puso na saging, coconut cream, okra, string beans, and squash. In Quezon, Lukban Longganisa, named after a place. Chami, you can have it salty, sweet and spicy, and best paired with their pinagong. Other dishes would include other delicacies would include budin or their cassava cake, hardinera, their meatloaf, much like also similar to embutido, and pinais or fish wrapped in banana leaves. But pinais is, I think, a cooking method, no? A terminology used to refer to steaming as a cooking method. So lambanog is an alcoholic drink distilled from tuba. Okay, so tuba is sweet fermented coconut sap that is milky in appearance. Okay, so this is popular in Quezon and Rizal province. Now, hibok-hibok is your galapong with sweet mongo paste in coconut milk topped with your latik. And this is your suman sa ibos. Okay, so I think this is the most common form of suman that we see here in Region 4 and in Manila, in NCR. In the Bicol region, so Region 5, this covers Albay, Camarines Norte, Camarines Sur, Catanduanes, Masbate, Sorsogon. So Albay is the country's pili nut province. So its cuisine features include coconut milk and siling labuyo. So I hope you're familiar with all of these, no? Because the Bicol region is quite unique in its, again, use of um, siling labuyo. Okay, to be more specific, the siling labuyo is a spicy variety of a hot variety of your chili pepper, and your coconut cream and coconut milk. So laing, made of your dried gabi leaves, coconut milk, sinanglay. So this is your fish, tilapia, covered with or wrapped with your pechay. Pinangat is made from your gabi chili pepper, bagoong coconut milk, and chopped pork. So this one at the bottom right. And gising-gising. Okay, so siling labuyo, pork and green beans, and your coconut milk. Okay, so kinonot. Okay, so it could be made from your baby shark meat or kinonot na pagi. Okay, from pagi. Okay, or your rice. Okay, cooked in thick coconut cream, ginger, and malunggay. Balinsuso, okay, is your rice wrapped in coconut leaves. Okay, and your kandinga, the one in the middle, is your pork organ meats, which is made from your lungs and your liver. Now let's move on to the Visayas group of islands. Now, Region 6, Western Visayas, Aklan, which is comprised of Aklan, Antique, Capiz, Guimaras, and Iloilo. So Guimaras is known for their mangoes. Negros Island region. So you have Negros Occidental, Negros Oriental, Region 7, Central Visayas, Bohol, Cebu, Siquijor. Region 8, Eastern Visayas, Biliran, Leyte, Northern Samar, Samar, Eastern Samar, Southern Leyte, or Mok, Tacloban. So Western Visayas is known as the sugar region. They're known for their inihaw or sinugba and ginamos. Okay? So tinum-anan means step on. Okay, so tinum-anan is made from your pork feet wrapped in banana leaves, cooked in vinegar, guava leaves, and spices. KBL stands for Kajos, or your pigeon pea, baboy, and langka. So that's the one on your upper right. Inasal, so you know this very well, means cooked over fire. Okay, or chicken inasal. And your lapas bachoy is noodles with pork innards, cracklings, and egg. Again, named after a place in Iloilo. Okay. Piyaya is your flaky flatbreads with muscovado sugar. Pinasugbu is your thinly sliced and deep fried saba banana, so deep into a thick caramel sauce. So they say that a well-made pinasugbu does not stick too well on the paper, so the paper can still be easily peeled. Napoleones, or your layered puff pastry filled with custard cream and glazed with white sugar on top. And your baye-baye, so you see this one in the streets, commonly sold. This is made from toasted pinipig, coconut, and sugar. Chicken binakol. Okay, so it's made with chicken, potatoes, coconut meat and water, garlic, and tomato. So much like um, tinola, but with coconut meat and water. With coconut meat and coconut water. So pancit molo, you have there your wonton, chicken broth, and your garlic. So you see here Chinese influence in the use of wonton. Kansi is made from beef shank, tanglad, and batuan. So this is like sinigang, but it is not a sour. Although um you can taste the sourness because of the batuan, which is your souring agent. Inubaran nga manok. Okay, so this is from the ubad or core of the banana tree, with cooked with coconut milk, tanglad or your lemongrass, and ginger. Laswa is your Ilonggo version of your bulanglang. Well, not just in Ilonggo, no, but you have laswa is a common vegetable stew in Visayas, and lauoy is a version in Mindanao. Dinengdeng, so similar to dinengdeng, is your laswa, which is your vegetable stew. The fare in Central Visayas would be mainly composed of coconut, seafood, corn, leafy vegetables, still sugba as a cooking method, and boiling. So apan-apan is your made from your kangkong stems, vinegar, garlic, onion, and tomato. So it's like adobong kangkong. Yeah. Utan is your boiled vegetable dish. Utan is means vegetable. So butong with crabs. Butong is your coconut. Okay. Humba, very much like adobo, only it is sweeter, with banana blossom and your black beans. In Cebu, they're known for their lechon eaten with puso rice. Okay, so this one. So this is wrapped in such a way that its shelf life is prolonged. So fishermen in the Visayas region would carry with them the puso rice, no, because it can last long, no, while they're at sea. Otap, okay, and binignit. Binignit is your ginataang halo-halo. In Eastern Visayas, they're known for seafood. Again, broiling is still is still a common cooking method with boiling, sautéing rice and corn in addition to coconut. Okay, so lelang is your sautéed mongo sprouts with pork, shrimp, sotanghon, and your green onion. Lawot-lawot, okay, so this is again your mixed vegetables, alugbati, squash, dry dilis, bagoong coconut milk. Binagol is their this is popular. This is a popular pasalubong. And moron is also a popular pasalubong from Eastern Visayas. So binagol is made from gabi, coconut milk, brown sugar, condensed milk, very sweet. Moron is your ground glutinous rice and cocoa powder, thus a favorite, no, everywhere in the Philippines. So before we leave Luzon and Visayas, I would like to show you a video which I have taken from YouTube. Okay, so when in Manila, I think the site is called When in Manila, or the producer. Um, it tells of the 16 dishes. It tells of 16 dishes from Filipino provinces that they say will make you feel at home. So maybe you can validate if what they claim is true. So that's it. No? Again, there was already a mention of some food popular in Mindanao. So I think I can go straight ahead with Mindanaoan dishes. No? So let's talk about Region 9, which covers Western Mindanao, the Zamboanga Peninsula, Zamboanga del Norte, Zamboanga del Sur, um, Zamboanga Sibugay, and Northern Mindanao, Camiguin, Misamis Oriental, Lanao del Norte, Bukidnon, and Misamis Occidental. Now they're known, Mindanao is known for their fruits, no? That is unique to their region. Mangosteen, breadfruit. Breadfruit in Tagalog is rimas. They literally eat it with coco jam. Okay, so I've been served one before, and I've tasted one. It's really like bread. The texture is like bread. Durian and marang. Okay, the more aromatic ones. Mara salad. Okay, so Western Mindanao is known for their fish and crustaceans in seaside markets. So Mara salad is made from your cucumber, tomato, dried fish, your siling labuyo, and your coconut mixture. Curry manok iban talum is your chicken with, it's your typical curry, only it's added with eggplant. Tiula itum is a Filipino beef soup prepared with beef or goat pieces that were cooked with lemongrass, ginger, turmeric, and charred coconut meat. That's why that's the color. Okay, so itum or black. Okay. In northern Mindanao, so Muslim and Visayan recipes predominate, and boiling as a common method of cooking. Tiola sapi is made from your beef, okay, with sauteed in garlic, onion, turmeric, labuyo, coconut. Okay, so coconut is really common, rice washing, and your petchay. Sampaina, so you have their innards. Okay, so intestines, lungs, liver, banana heart, and ulasiman, which is your flavoring agent. Linatan is like nilaga with your pork, taro root, lemongrass. Lemongrass is very common in Mindanao, so that's a common flavoring agent for their soups. That's why you know that you're in Mindanao. No? Red bell pepper, string beans, rice washing. Basuy is your boiled liver, pork, lemongrass, and vegetables. Inununan is fish in vinegar. So this is their paksiw na isda. Tinoa is fish stew in lemongrass, tomato, and chilies. Okay, very flavorful soup. Um, um, Warm, good for a rainy day. Yummy. Yan. Binaki is their grated young corn with powdered milk and sugar. When you go to southern Mindanao, so that's region 11, Davao region, Compostela Valley, Davao del Norte, Davao del Sur, Davao Oriental, Davao Occidental, Central Mindanao, Socsargen, South Cotabato, Sultan Kudarat, Sarangani, General Santos, where you see, where you get your large tuna. CARAGA is Agusan del Norte, Agusan del Sur, Surigao del Norte, Surigao del Sur, Dinagat Islands, and your Bangsamoro Autonomous Region in Muslim Mindanao. Litub is what they call their seashells with malunggay and sauteed shredded young corn. Okay. Litub or litub. I think they have a variety of this type of seashell. Lauoy is a lemongrass based soup again with leafy vegetables and fried fish, lauoy. So if you remember laswa, so it's very similar. Hinalang is your hot and spicy nilagang baka or kalabaw, whichever you have available. Paklay is your organ meats with green and red pepper, unripe pineapple. So it has to have the unripe pineapple and vinegar. Okay, so dalag rolettes, you could also be offered with this dalag fillets marinated in soy sauce, calamansi, garlic, pepper, and salt, rolled in crumbs, fried and garnished with tomatoes and marinade. Pieron is dalag. So dalag is common, no? Again, flavored with lemongrass, coconut, crushed turmeric, ginger, sakarab, and labuyo. Sakarab is shallots. Linong-ag na saba. So that's your unripe saba banana. So this is starchy. So still it's not yet as sweet. No, it's similar to the texture of kamote, and kamote served with ginamos. And ginatang manok with duyaw and siling, labuyo. Okay, so this is their version of um adobong dilaw, no? Only that it has gata, no? Also gata, um or coconut milk, and also turmeric for the color. Pastil, so in central Mindanao, you have sauteed chicken wrapped in banana leaves, and tinagtag, or your deep fried finely ground rice, um sweetened with sugar and some water, strained to form strings. So this is their delicacy. So I'll show you a few more video clips to better depict authentic dishes from Mindanao.
Andito tayo sa restaurant ng Maguindanao, Halal Foods. Ito po yung special na malakaso sa amin na Maguindanao na kinakain ng karamihan sa amin. Na ito yung tinatawag na pastel, na ito po yung nagiging ulam niya, manok. Ang karne sa amin na is kambing at saka baka. Ihira lang po yung kalabaw. Karabaw is nasa Maranao po sila doon. Kasi karabaw sa amin, parang nanginginayan kami kasi ginagamit namin sa pansasaka, ginagamit sa lahat. Ito po yung aluan na special sa Maguindanao na isda. Ang pagkaluto sa amin ito, hindi siya maanghang. Hindi katulad sa ibang relative sa Maranao is maluya, maanghang. Sa amin na Maguindanao, hindi po. Kasi kami mga Maguindanao, hindi po mahilig sa maanghang. Ito naman po yung sa amin, gulay, kumbaga badak, kung sa Maguindanao. Sa Maranao is maanghang. Sa amin na hindi po. Mild lang siya. Ito po yung gulay na ito yung mahilig kami nito, yung kalabasa, ang palaya ito, saka talong. Kasi sa amin, sa probinsya namin, hindi na namin kailangan ito binibili. Kami mismo ang tatanim nito. May isda po, pero kasi na hinuhuli pa yon, tapos minsan binibili, mahal naman po. Saka ito naman ho yung special na sa amin, pamirienda. Ito yung tinatawag na suman. Kumbaga sa Maguindanao, ito po yung balabad. Pangalawa po, na namin itong biko.
Our best seller, which is the tula itum, or other called black soup. The ingredients are made with beef cubes, lemongrass. It has an edible coconut burn, or what we call sunog lahing in our own dialect. Okay, the next one is beef korma. It's actually a mix of tausug and Malaysian cuisine. And the last one is much more similar to tula itum. It's called chicken pianggang, which is also marinated in sunog lahing, the edible coconut that we burn, is an authentic tausug recipe. The most ingredients that we use our daily lives, it's hindi mawawala ang coconut milk, ang gata, and the spicy, which is include the sile and the pepper, and we always crush our ingredients before cooking.
Nandiyan na sa history yung dahil daw na invento yung 45 dahil pag kinakain yung dahil sa pagkain ng tausog, ibig sabihin malakas yung kahit natatamaan na ng 38 ay hindi sila namamatay dahil sa maresista ng katawan nila.
Ang malinamnam na pagkain, ito ay niluto base sa your personal connection with God. When we slaughter animals, we slaughter it by Islamic rituals where the name of God is being mentioned. The phrase Bismillahirrahmanirrahim, which means in the name of Allah, most compassionate and most merciful. There are also rituals, for example, yung paano siya tumagal na hindi siya mapanis. May mga technique sa sarili, paano mo siya lulutuin. Sa breathing exercises, attach yun siya. So it's not just cooking a food.
So her name is Zoraida Mangalang, but we generally call her Babo, like everyone in the house and in this street, because she is like the Babo of everyone.
Babo is an affectionate term to describe an older woman, kind of like auntie. So
Yeah.
is Babo the best cook around?
Are you Babo?
Yes.
Yeah.
We were gonna learn how to make piaparan a manok, or chicken coconut stew.
So first, she's gonna make a palapa.
And what's palapa?
Palapa is an essential part of every meal.
It's like the seasoning of Maranao.
It's a mix of grated coconut, spices, and sakura, white scallion native to this region. Palapa can be used as a marinade, a condiment, or even an appetizer.
Mapasadaya na, buyo na. Then after that, you're gonna have to pound it using teguan sa timos.
I can do that.
You'll get there.
How long do you think this is gonna take?
And like in other Moro cuisines, coconut and turmeric play major roles. So what's the significance of turmeric powder?
Para colorful. Para kanabo para mapiapigilan.
Is yellow an important color in Maranao culture?
Yes.
Yes, that was a very decisive answer.
So kalawag na bulong pans kanya.
This dish is cooked in coconut twice. Once boiled in fresh coconut milk, and then stir-fried with grated coconut.
There's just something so pleasurable about the sound of like the bubbling and sizzling when you open up a pot.
Yeah.
Like,
I think it's because it also signals to us that like food is almost ready.
yeah, exactly. Because the Maranaos are people of the lake, chicken and meat are typically reserved for special occasions. And this was quite the spread they prepared for us.
Okay, I think we should try the one that we ate first.
We usually use the soup, mix the soup with the rice.
Okay, it's very delicious.
Okay, so I hope you enjoyed our short tour around the country. There are a lot. Again, there are a number of dishes that we can name, in the different regions, but these are the more common ones. You don't have to memorize all of them, no, but you just get to yourself familiarize with the flavors so that it can help you recall when you take the exam. Now, let's move on to the next set of slides. So let's now go to, I think we're ready to go international. Okay. We are now on to the last leg of our discussion for today. So let's talk about international cuisine. Let's look at European countries first. Okay, so Scandinavian fare is simple and hearty, featuring the abundant food of the sea as they are best known for their use of fish and shellfish and making the best use of the limited foods produced on land. So it reflects preservation methods such as drying, smoking, or pickling. Milk was often fermented or allowed to sour before consuming. In Scandinavia, they say Danes live to eat, Norwegians eat to live, and Swedes live to drink. So this tells much about also their culture. So some common dishes found in Scandinavian countries include fruit soup or sweet soup served cold or warm, typically prepared using dried fruits. Again, because of their use of varied preservation methods. Lax, which is salmon, and rum pudding, lingonberry. So they have a wide array or types of berries in Europe and their Danish pastries. In Central Europe, so that would include Germany, Austria, Hungary, Romania, Czech, Slovakia, Poland, Switzerland, and Russia. Common ingredients are potatoes, beans, Brussels sprouts, beets, eggs, dairy, pork, beef, and fish. So their flavor principles include sour cream, vinegar, dill, mustard, and black pepper in Germany. So onion lard and paprika are also famous in Hungary. So some examples of common fare in Central Europe would be their use of breads like brötchen or their white bread, their white crusty bread, and their pumpernickel, which is made from grains, whole grains, and rye. Now, Germany is a land of popular festivals such as Munich's Oktoberfest, which lasts for 16 days from late September through early October. Okay, so what do they have during the Oktoberfest? So they eat a lot of sausage, beer, and pretzels. So in Germany, Wurst or sausage is popular. They call it kielbasa in Poland, Wieners in Austria, and bangers in Ireland. Sauerbraten is marinated beef roast. Schnitzel, like what you see there in the middle, is a lightly breaded fried pork served with sauerkraut, which is their fermented cabbage. In the photo there, you would also see their wurst. So laying on a bed of also sauerkraut. Rouladen is their beef roll-ups. Knödel is their boiled dumplings, okay, which has another version like pierogi in Poland. Spätzle, which means little sparrows or egg noodle dumplings, and bretzel or pretzel. And of course, beer is a common beverage. Germany is also known for their sweet delicacies and their pastries, such as the Black Forest cake, named after named after their forests in Bavaria. They call that Schwarzwälder Kirschtorte, and Stollen, which is their Christmas fruitcake. They say that the Stollen represents the baby Jesus wrapped in swaddling clothes, okay, because of the white um, covering of powdered sugar. In Central Europe, also, Hungary freely uses red and fresh green peppers, tomatoes, sour cream, and lard. So Hungarians prefer rich and spicy sauces and stews. Soup is the soul of Hungarian cuisine. So if it is sauces in French, it is soup in Hungarian cuisine. They have a national preference for cakes, cookies, and pastries rather than candy. Palaksinta, so the example that we have here in the slide, are very thin pancakes filled and rolled up with fruit preserves. They also have dishes like I've mentioned pierogi in Poland. So this is their version of their dumpling. Goulash, uh, which is their hearty stew, beef stew, and Apfelstrudel, or their fake flaky rolled pastry with apple filling. Now, Switzerland is known for their, you got it right, fondues. Okay, so your cheese fondue is composed of chunks of bread dipped into melted cheese. They use Emmental, so this is a type of Swiss cheese that melts at high temperatures. Fondue bourguignon, it's also fondue, though they use, in this case, they use small pieces of tenderloin, deep fried and skewered, dipped in a mixture of paprika and mustard instead of cheese. So those are the spellings if you want to take note of the dishes in Switzerland. In Russia, so you have also varied hearty dishes like borscht, which is start soup from beets, caviar, which is a roe from your sturgeon fish, chicken Kiev, or breaded chicken with herbed butter, and piroshki, or your small turnovers. So this is your on your lower right. This is your caviar, fresh, being freshly harvested from your sturgeon fish. Now in Great Britain and Ireland, food are simple and minimally seasoned. In the 19th and early 20th centuries, breakfast was considered a substantial meal. Thus, it should be heavy. So it consists of oatmeal, bacon, ham or sausage, eggs, bread fried in bacon fat, toast with jam or marmalade, grilled tomatoes and mushrooms, and smoked fish and deviled kidneys. Yes, all of them. So these are then washed down by tea. Potted, okay, so that's Potted. Potted is an English term for fish meat, poultry, or game pounded with lard or butter into pate, then preserved in jars or pots. So deviled, so when they say deviled as a descriptor in their menu, it describes a dish prepared with a spice, hot sauce, or seasoning. Now you see that in deviled eggs. Okay, they could serve that for breakfast, for instance. What are some popular food items in Great Britain and Ireland? So they have crumpets. Okay, crumpets. This is the first picture here. Yorkshire pudding. And Yorkshire pudding, this is the one in the middle. So popover commonly served with roast beef. So this is the one here, your popover. Fish and chips. Okay, so deep fried fish and potato. So again, you have crumpets, fish and chips, and your Yorkshire pudding. Crumpets are similar to griddle cakes. That's why you have small holes there. Now, haggis. Okay, so haggis is a traditional Scottish sausage. So this is the one you have on your left. Made from sheep stomach, stuffed with liver, lungs, heart, oatmeal, suet, and seasoning. Okay, it is served with turnips and mashed potatoes, thus the name nips and tatties. Shepherd's pie, so this one on your right, is a beef or lamb pie with mashed potato crust. So this is mashed potato on top. So Great Britain and Ireland are also known for their mushy peas, clotted cream, Welsh rarebit, bubble and squeak. Okay, so these are all the four. So you see here the first picture, the mushy peas, clotted cream, Welsh rarebit, and bubble and squeak. So they're also well known for using their leftovers. Okay, so that's why they turn them into this kind of dish here, the bubble and squeak. Okay, so it's made up of your potatoes, cabbage, carrots, peas, and Brussels sprouts. In the Netherlands, they're known for their culinary creativity. Herring, so this is a type of fish, is known as a national symbol. Okay, so this is the one that you have on your left. So they serve it with pickles. Okay, olibolen, this one on your right, is a traditional New Year's Eve treat. Okay, so these are donuts with raisins, currants, or apples. So these are donuts. Okay. Olibolen is translated as oil balls. Okay, so you deep fry them. So that's why you call them olibolen. Now, the classic French cuisine is carefully planned with balanced texture, color, and flavor. The soul of French cooking is its sauces. Okay, again, it's the sauce, often prepared from stocks and simmered for hours. Some common rules in preparing French dishes are: one, that you never mix sweet and sour flavors in the same dish, unlike what we are used to in Asia. So they never mix sweet and sour flavors in the same dish. They never serve sweet sauces over fish, and they do not under or overcook food. So it's either they just serve it raw, or they should be cooked as perfectly as it should be. So they are to use the freshest and best tasting ingredients, and wine is an integral part of their meal, and it must complement the food. So French breads and pastry are also particularly noteworthy when we talk about French cuisine. So what are the five mother sauces, no, which is the soul of French cuisine? Bechamel is your roux plus your dairy. Your veloute is your roux plus your white stock. Espanol is your roux plus your brown stock. Tomato is your roux plus your tomatoes. And Hollandaise is your yolk, your egg yolk plus your clarified butter plus your acid. Okay? So I hope you got that already in your notes. Again, bechamel is roux plus dairy. Veloute is your roux plus your white stock. Espanol is your roux plus your brown stock. Tomato is your roux plus your tomato sauce. Hollandaise is your egg yolk added with your clarified butter, and then any type of acid. Now, also known in French cuisine, some of the dishes would be ratatouille. This is a simple vegetable stew. It's a combination of your tomatoes, eggplant, zucchini cooked in olive oil. Foie gras, on the other hand, is your fattened duck liver. And you have here your crêpe Suzette on your lower right. Okay. And served with some marmalade on top. Could be served with some marmalade on top. And your French onion soup over here. Okay. So that's served with a toasted bread on top and your cheese. Now, again, stocks are also popular in France. So and uh they're soup-based dishes. Okay, so your bouillabaisse is your provencal fish stew. So it's from Provence. Okay, so fish stew with garlic, tomatoes, and olive oil. Your bouillon in your right would be your clear dark colored soup. So it should be clear and dark colored. So those are the two characteristics of your bouillon. Salad niçoise is your salad made from tuna, tomatoes, hard-boiled eggs, olives, and anchovies. So you see here, um, in Provence, they can offer a wide variety. Provence is a region in France. They provide fresh salads, seafood to pair with their soup base or their stocks and um, some bread. Now, bisque is rich and creamy, made from pureed shellfish. Your chowder, on the other hand, is a smooth, thick, chunky, filled with pieces of vegetable, seafood, and meat. So that's what you have here. So this is a hearty type of soup, your chowder. Okay, a common one would be your clam chowder. Consomme is your clarified soup. If bouillon is a clear soup, consomme is clarified. So you see here, it's almost transparent with a shiny brownish hue, brownish yellowish hue. Vichyssoise is your pureed leeks, onions, potatoes, cream, and stock. Okay, so that's what you have there on your upper left. Ragu is your main dish stew. It's like your goulash in Hungarian cuisine. Garber is your ham and cabbage stew. Tureen is your garlic soup. Fricassee is stewed meat served in thick white sauce. So I don't have a picture here of fricassee, but you know that it is stewed meat served in thick white sauce. So you know that France is also known for their course meals. Thus, they also have a wide variety of appetizers to choose from, or what they call hors d'oeuvre. Okay, so these are assorted appetizers. Canapes, okay, are small open-faced toasts, like this one we have on your left. And petit four are small cakes served at the end of the meal. So aside from appetizers, of course, they do have desserts. Really pretty ones. Okay, so in addition to that, they have the macaron or the almond meringue, souffle or light and puffy cakes made with egg yolks, beaten whites, and savory and sweet ingredients. Okay, so that's your macaron. And this is expensive because it's made from what almonds. Okay, and your souffle. Souffle can be filled with sweet or savory ingredients. In Italy, so aside from pasta, which is a quintessential dish in Italy, there are other dishes that the country is known for, like polenta, which is a stiff cornmeal mush. So this is your polenta. Gnocchi, or their soft dough dumplings made of semolina, wheat flour, egg, um, cheese, and potato. Okay. Scampi is a dish of large shrimp prepared with a garlic flavored sauce. Okay, so scampi is shrimp. Also in Italy, okay, so they're known for their prosciutto, which is dry cured unsmoked ham, dark pink and mild in flavor. Okay, the calzone, which is a folded pizza, risotto, which is made from your arborio rice. There are a lot of types of risotto. You can um, have different flavors for it. And ravioli. So again, these are um, uh, filled, or stuffed pasta. So here are again a number of desserts for Italy. So the original spumoni, so the was made up of nut or fruit filled ice cream. So that's the first photo there, surrounding a sometimes liquor soaked sponge cake. Okay, so spumoni is a dessert now made of layers of ice cream. Okay, so instead of the liquor soaked sponge cake. Marsala is fortified wine from Sicily, if you remember from our discussion on alcoholic beverage. It is commonly used for cooking to create rich caramelized sauces. Okay, so they're known also for adding wines in cooking. Panettone is a light, airy version of fruitcake. So it's like your raisin bread. Mascarpone is your dessert cheese made from cream, which is also a popular ingredient in tiramisu. Okay, so that's mascarpone. Now we have different more than we have an array of a list of pastries, ice creams, okay? Gelato is one popular dessert, okay, in Italy, which is a thick, sticky, creamy custard. Okay, so gelato uses more milk than cream. So that makes it different from ice cream. And churned at a slower rate and served at warmer temperatures. Okay, so that's why you have that particular texture, no, identifying gelato from, differentiating gelato from your typical ice cream. Biscotti means twice baked. Okay, so that's the first photo that you have there from the left. Sfogliatelli is your layered and crunchy dough. That's the one on the middle. And cannoli, okay, are little tubes or tube shaped fried pastry dough filled with ricotta. Okay, so specifically ricotta in cannoli. So this is commonly paired with espresso, meaning made expressly for you. It's from finely ground dark roast coffee through which water is forced by steam pressure. I think I've mentioned that when we were talking about coffee in meal management. Cappuccino is espresso topped with frothy steamed milk. Spain is known for being the primary producer of olives worldwide. So it's known for the freshness of their ingredients, the time spent on meals with family and friends, and abundance of food. So their entrees feature meats with vegetables to make savory stews, cured meat like their serrano ham and chorizo, and salted cod. They call it bacalao. And rice is also widely used. So their flavor principles in general include garlic, tomatoes, olive oil, nuts, onions, and pepper. Other dishes known in Spain would be paella or their saffron seasoned dish. So that's the one on your left with your seafood as your protein source. And you also have there your flans. Okay, so your churros. Okay, and your cocido or your chickpeas or vegetable stew. Turon here is your almond honey nougat. Okay, not like the turon that you know in the Philippines. So this is an almond honey nougat because they are the top producers of almonds, hazelnuts, walnuts. Gazpacho here on your rightmost corner is a chilled tomato and vegetable soup. So the name gazpacho is believed to have come from the vinegar water called a drink called posca. Okay, so reportedly offered to Christ on the cross. So there's a little bit of history there. And manchego, which is a type of cheese from sheep's milk. Now, to summarize what we have discussed or what we have described in terms of the European cuisine, I downloaded another video from YouTube. So I hope this encapsulates the characteristics of the iconic dishes around Europe because Europe is a large continent. So here you go. So I hope that gave you a feel of how food is served in Europe. Now, we now move on to Mediterranean countries. So Greece, in Greece, a Mediterranean diet reflects food or food patterns typical of Crete, Greece, and southern Italy. So their common fare is typically comprised of grains, lemon, cheese, olive oil, fruits, and vegetables. So some of the famous or iconic dishes in Greece would be their gyros or pita sandwich of lamb and beef, tomato, onion, and yogurt sauce, or baklava. So they also have this phyllo dough stuffed with nuts and soaked in honey, and ouzo, okay, which is their anise flavored aperitif. Okay, so their liqueur, okay, in Greek liqueur. Also known in Greek cuisine would be lamb kebab with tzatziki sauce. Okay, so this is a strained yogurt with cucumber, garlic, salt, olive oil, red wine, vinegar, and dill. Okay, so spanakopita is spinach and cheese pastry. So that's what you have in the middle. And tara mosalata is your fish roll, olive oil, lemon, starchy base used as spread or dip. So that's the one on your right. So they're very fond of serving food with dips. Okay. That's yogurt based or um that could be spread, or a starchy base that could be spread. In the Middle East, so that would be Afghanistan, Pakistan, Turkey, Cyprus, Syria, Lebanon, Iraq, Iran, Israel, Jordan, Egypt, Sudan, Libya, Saudi Arabia, Kuwait, Yemen, Oman, Bahrain, Qatar, and UAE. So I'm not sure if I hope I got all of them. So the Afghani, Iranian, and Turkish influences with an overall impact made by the Islamic doctrine. So there's zero tolerance of any porcine product or liquor in any recipe. Okay. So pork is prohibited. Now what they usually have would be hummus with pita. So this is very common in the Middle East. So it's composed of mashed chickpeas with slightly leavened flatbread. Okay, or flatbread, I should say. Now they're also fond of eating and preparing pilaf, or their sautéed seasoned rice steamed in bouillon. Falafel, or their fried vegetarian fritters served with tahini. So tahini is their sesame seed paste. So falafel is the one that you see there in the middle. Tashin is their Iranian rice cake that includes rice, yogurt, saffron, egg, and chicken fillets. Other Middle Eastern fare would include shish kebab. These are skewered grilled cubes of meat. Shawarma. Okay, so Arab meat preparation where meats are placed on a spit. Okay, so that's what you see here in the middle. And dolma, or your stuffed grape leaves with rice and meat. So that's the one that you have there on the right. In Saudi Arabia, you have kabsa, or chicken and rice dish, which is fragrant and lightly spiced. Long grain, okay, and kobus, okay, or this is the pita of Saudi Arabia. The national fruit would be, yes, you guessed it right, dates. So truffles are highly prized. Mushroom. Formaggio is Italian for cheese. Tapas pertains to small amounts of appetizers in Spain. The spice, yes, saffron makes a true paella. Tiramisu contains the Italian cheese mascarpone. Okay. Now let's move on to the Americas. Okay. So again, the Americas have a wide variety of flavors going on, no, depending on which region you are in or which state you're in, and also depending on influences. Okay, so clam chowder, it's a rich soup with pork, onion, um, diced potatoes, butter, and milk seasoned with thyme. Waldorf salad is composed of your fresh apples, celery, peanuts, walnuts dressed in mayonnaise. Veal grillades or your veal sticks browned in a skillet, sauce of tomato paste, chicken, stock, white wine, and herbs. It can be also served with mashed potato. You have the last photo there would be your clubhouse and pulled pork sandwich. So that's not veal grillades. Okay, so veal grillades is the one that you have there, the first um photo. Okay, so that's flavored with white wine and herbs. So the last photo there that you have would be your clubhouse and pulled pork sandwich. Pie, tarts, cheesecake, roast turkey, steaks au jus, or steaks served with their own juice, left on their own juice, or cooked in their own juice. Mac and cheese. Cajun and Creole, these are well seasoned dishes. So Cajun comes from the word Acadian or French colonists expelled from England. Okay, so this features dishes cooked in one pot like gumbo, stews, and jambalaya, fricassees. Creole is described as the adaptation of a product to a new world environment. So this is used to describe slaves born in Louisiana of black ancestry who were free prior to the Civil War. Okay, so there are no so Creole cooking is known for outdoor cooking such as barbecue and crawfish boil. So when you see Cajun and Creole as a descriptor in restaurants, for example, it just means that they are serving well seasoned dishes. Jambalaya, so it's a protein and vegetables with rice and stock later simmered together, combined before serving. Gumbo is made from your okra with chili powder. Okay. Cayenne peppers, a mix of vegetables and meat or shellfish with thickened stock. And your boudin or your fresh sausage, I'm just not sure if I pronounced that correctly because I think this is from French influence. So French sausage made from pork scraps, cooked rice, and seasoned with cayenne pepper and green onion. In the southern part of America, wholesome farm style cooking is popular. So they describe cookery in South America as wholesome and farm style. So a typical fare would be deep fried food, heavy sauces, and sweet desserts. Okay. Um green Other types of dishes would include green and black eyed peas, deep fried chicken, barbecue ribs, cornbread, pecan pie, and peach cobbler. Okay, so cobbler refers to a variety of dishes, particularly in the United Kingdom and United States, consisting of a fruit or savory filling poured into a large baking dish and covered with a batter, biscuit, or dumpling before being baked. So that's what you see there on the first photo there on top. Okay, so that's an example of a cobbler. Okay, using peach. So that's a sweet filling, fruit filling. In Latin America, so it's because of the Indian Spanish heritage, and American influence. So it's Brazil, Puerto Rico, and Argentina. So they share very common flavor profiles of tomatoes, onions, chili peppers, and cumin. So in Brazil, it's chili peppers, dried shrimp, ginger root, and palm oil. In Puerto Rico, they have what they call sofrito. So this is a seasoning sauce of tomatoes, onions, garlic, bell pepper, cilantro, capers, pimiento, is your bell peppers, which is charred, no, by broiling, annatto seeds and lard. In Argentina, you have your chimichurri. Okay, I think this is already getting more popular here in the country. No, finely chopped parsley, minced garlic, vegetable oil, cilantro, oregano, white wine vinegar, and chili. And all of these are available in the Philippines. So I could imagine that we can readily mimic the flavors of Latin American cuisine. In Mexico, you can guess that already. You have your guacamole or your ripe avocado pulp, chili oil, chili, onion, garlic, tomatoes mixed and sprinkled with coriander leaves and eaten with tostadas. Okay, or I think here we call that your chips. Tacos is a cornmeal mixture. So in Mexico, they serve soft corn tortilla. It's in Tex-Mex that they use the hard shells. Chili con carne. Okay, so that's um ground beef, kidney beans, tomato sauce, um chili pepper, and flavored with oregano. Other dishes, chilaquiles would be your tortilla casserole. So that's the one that you have there on the left. Chiles relleno or stuffed chilies, that's the one that you have there in the middle, just below your warm tortilla or your flatbread, which could either be soft or crispy. And pescado yucateco. Okay, so that's your red snapper in achiote sauce. So that's why it's red. So that's the one on your rightmost, that's the rightmost here photo. So tortilla, I have to define this one because this is iconic for Mexico. So soft, thin flatbread made from finely ground wheat flour. So in Spain, tortilla is an egg omelette. Okay, so that's very interesting. And it is believed that the Spanish called the Mexican bread by that name because of its similar shape. Some history on tortilla, the history of tortilla. Enchilada, so it's your filled tortilla, baked, covered with chili sauce. Quesadilla, your soft corn tortilla stuffed with cheese. Tamale, or your corn-based dough steamed in corn husk. And salsa. Okay, so it's a combination of your chilies, tomatoes, onion, and cilantro. Who would not know salsa? Okay, so this is commonly served together with your guacamole. Refried beans means well fried. Okay, so your beans are cooked and mashed. Flautas and burritos. Okay, so what you have there in the middle, that's really big. That's your burritos. Flautas are rolled tacos. Okay, so rolled up wheat flour tortillas eaten as main dish. Okay, so the taquito is what they call their corn tortilla that is smaller and eaten as an appetizer. Okay, flautas are deep fried, no, and bathed in salsa. So that's the one that you have on your left. Okay. So burritos, the one that you have in the middle, are tortilla rolled around the filling, typically of beans and ground shredded meat. The tortilla should be large, about 12 inches. Okay. When the burrito is deep fried, you call it now chimichanga. Chimichanga. Okay, so what is Tex-Mex anyway? So I've mentioned Tex-Mex. So this is inspired by Texans of Spanish or Mexican heritage. Okay. So again, this is inspired by Texans of Spanish or Mexican heritage. So some characteristics include the addition of beef, yellow cheese, the use of yellow cheese or cheddar cheese, wheat flour, black beans, canned vegetables, and the abundance of cumin. An example of a Tex-Mex dish would be fajitas. These are strips of meat, sweet peppers and onions, spiced and sautéed or grilled, wrapped or folded with tortilla. Okay, so their use of beef, okay, is characteristic of Tex-Mex. Now let's go to East Asia. Okay, um, China has a a number of flavors going on in their dishes. Now, depending on the five schools which contributed to their culinary arts. Okay. So the art of Chinese cooking lies in the selection, blending, and harmonizing of texture, color, aroma in cooking. Okay, so the composition of meals is governed by yin and yang. So common cooking methods um, would would include um, stir frying, deep fat frying, simmering, and roasting. Now, here are the different schools, okay, which has contributed to their culinary arts. The school of Honan, okay, or Hanon, is describes their dishes as sweet sour. The school of Peking introduced grandeur in their dishes. The school of Canton have introduced novel delicacies like turtle soup, sausage, and oyster stew. So this is quite also elaborate and novel. Okay. The school of Fushao is introduced red fermented bean sauce and fine seafood fare. And the school of Szechuan, which is I think the ones which is most common for us, hot pepper dishes. Okay, so it has to be spicy. Now, what do we know now of the dishes in East Asia? So the dominant part of the cuisine of Chinese cuisine is starchy food, noodles or mantou or their steamed buns in the north, and rice in the south. Okay. Um, Minimum cooking or limited cooking methods applied to Chinese food is indicative of their lack of fuel, no, being used in China. The dominant part of their cuisine is starchy food, so yeah, so thus the buns and the rice. Now for other types of dishes, congee, labaju, or their eight treasure porridge. Okay, so it's a tradition every eighth day of the last month of the Chinese lunar calendar to um, serve labaju. Okay, so noodles are used to um, symbolize welcoming, as dumplings are served as farewell. Dim sum, so this is linked to yomcha or their tea drinking. Dim sum is a style of Chinese Canton cuisine prepared as small bite-sized portions of food traditionally served in small steamer baskets or on small plates. So they do the dim sum and the tea drinking to accommodate travelers journeying along the Silk Road. So they eat a lot after their journey, no, and their work in the field. So here are some examples of your dishes served in small um, portions or your dim sum. So your shrimp dumpling, you call it harko, lotus leaf wrap, lo mai kai, sesame balls, tian tui, chicken feet, egg tarts, pork bao, shumai, shupao, pao si. Okay, so these are some examples of your Chinese dishes. Okay. Also popular, the contents, by the way, of your lotus leaf wrap would be your sticky rice with chicken. In northern China, Shandong, that includes Shandong and Beijing, so they serve Peking duck and mushu pork. Mushu pork is your pork tenderloin with mushroom and cucumber. In southern China, so again, that's Szechuan or Sichuan, use of your chili, garlic, and fagara or your wild lime. Okay, and serving of hot and sour soup. Peking style hoisin sauce. Ingredients include starches such as sweet potato, wheat or rice, and water, sugar, soybean, sesame seeds, white distilled vinegar, salt, garlic, red chili peppers, and sometimes preservatives or coloring agents. So that's your hoisin sauce. Okay. So hoisin sauce is made using toasted mashed soybeans. Okay. So that's why you cannot identify the flavors going on in hoisin sauce because they have a lot of ingredients there, especially if it is a Peking style. Okay, so in Honan, so that's sweet and sour fish. Again, they're known for their sweet and sour flavors. Their Mongolian hot pot. Okay, in Yunnan, so this Yunnan is a mountainous region. Okay. Um so they have a popular noodles there called crossing the bridge noodles. No, it is recorded that one caring wife brings food to her husband. So this is the history of the crossing the bridge noodles that they have. No, one iconic dish in Yunnan. So she needs to, so the wife brings food to her husband who is studying on a small island. So she needs to cross a bridge each time for the food delivery. However, she finds that each time when she had crossed the bridge, the noodles get cooled and soggy. So she used a large earthen pot to keep the chicken stock warm, and then the ingredients separated. And then pour the hot chicken stock on the cooked rice, noodles, and fresh ingredients. So somehow it resembles your hot pot. Now, in Honan, also, um, sorry, in Yunnan, dishes are often hot and spicy, no, and they grow wild mushrooms. So that's in Yunnan. In Cantonese style, Cantonese cooking is known for their stir-fried dishes. So that's how we have acquired our cookery, no, our stir frying, no, practices. Or ways in preparing our food. Seafood, delicate thickened sauces, use of vegetable oil, and the Cantonese are known also for their dim sum. Japan. Okay, so the Japanese revere harmony, and they have this emphasis on presentation. They are noted for their use of sake, mirin, Japanese soy sauce, udon, shirataki, and kishamen. Okay, so shirataki is your sukiyaki, kishamen is your shabu shabu. Dashi is the basic stock made from their dried bonito fish and seaweed. That's a picture that you have there on top. Chokemono is their seafood, vegetables, fruits pickled in miso, soy sauce, and vinegar. Katsuobushi is the smoky, savory taste, no, that you get in Japanese dishes. perfect for making dashi and for sprinkling. So the katsuobushi is your dried fermented smoked skipjack tuna or your bonito. Your bonito fish. That's again your katsuobushi is the dried fermented smoked skipjack tuna or your bonito flakes. Okay? Agidashi tofu is your fried dashi tofu dusted with potato or cornstarch served in hot tentsuyu broth made of dashi, mirin, and shoyu. So that's the delicate sauce where the tofu, the deep fried tofu is submerged. Now, in Japan, we know wasabi, okay, which is the root of an Asian plant similar to horseradish. It's not horseradish per se. So it's harsh, pungent, with a fiery flavor. You have your nori, okay, so that's the paper thin sheet of algae rolled around your sushi. Okay. Sashimi is your raw fish. Sukiyaki is your simmered beef prepared at the table. So this is the national dish of Japan. It's sweet and salty. It's a mixture of your sweet and salty flavor with beef and vegetable in the mix. Tempura is your battered and deep fried pieces of fish and vegetables. Shabu shabu is your boiling pot, no? Used to cook food at the table. Um it starts with a pot of boiling water. Your shabu shabu. Then your paper thin slices of marbled meat, chicken, pork, or lamb, as well as fresh vegetables, are cooked by dipping them into the pot of the simmering broth for a few seconds, and then prepared nabemono style. Okay, so your bento is your boxed meal. Bento is your boxed meal, so that's what you have there on your right. Udon is your chewy, soft, thick wheat noodles. Ramen are pooled noodles. Okay, thinner and longer than udon. Broth and flavor are distinctly separate. Okay, so that's a characteristic of your ramen. Soba is made from buckwheat flour. So what are satsumas? So these are small seedless tangerine, loose skin variety, widely cultivated mandarin of Japan. Korea, spice is the power of Koreans. Okay, so the flavor principles include soy sauce, garlic, ginger root, black pepper, scallions, chili peppers, and sesame seeds and sesame oil. Okay, so you have here your different soy based sauces like your ganjang, gochujang, and your doenjang. Okay, so the most popular among them is the gochujang, which you mix with your rice. Your doenjang is your soybean paste, the one that you have here on your left. Okay, I know that you are all familiar with Korean food. Who doesn't know kimchi? Okay, so this is fermented cabbage in a bed of pepper, garlic, ginger, and scallion. You also have bulgogi, which is the strips of your beef flavored with garlic, onion, soy sauce, and sesame. Shige is your thick stew, which is strong in taste. So you could mix anything with your shige. It could be your vegetables, your tofu, kimchi. Okay, mandu, your dumplings. This is John. No, the lower left. Okay, so that's your pan fried um a pancake like uh coated vegetable. Okay, samgyeopsal. Okay, so that's your grilled pork belly. Japchae is your stir-fried sweet potato noodles. Dolso bibimbap because of um their stone pot. Okay, bibimbap. That's why it's named as such. Soju, your rice liquor, and namul or your fresh or lightly cooked vegetables. You call that namul. Okay, so now let's move on to Southeast Asia. I hope you are all still with me. So in Southeast Asia, preparation methods and patterns reflect cultures that have influenced them. So the common ingredients would include indigenous vegetables, fish, seafood, tropical fruits, and waxy rice. So what are the flavor principles in Southeast Asia? So fermented fish sauce, coconut milk, chili peppers, tamarind, and lemongrass. Okay. So I hope you are familiar with these flavor profiles because these flavor principles because we are a Southeast Asian country, no? And these are the flavor principles of our neighboring countries. Okay, in Thailand, okay, so they use namprik. So this is a sauce composed of garlic, shrimp paste, chilies pounded and seasoned with sugar. Nampla is their patis or their fish sauce and lime juice. Chicken curry made from your flavored with your coconut cream, your makrut or yung dayap, the citrus fruit that they use, larapa or your basil and red and green chilies. Okay. So what does the curry paste contain no in Thai cuisine? Fresh, it uses diaprind, lemongrass, shallots, garlic, okay, shrimp paste, ilang kawas, okay. Nampla, again I've mentioned that that's your fish sauce. Makrut is what they call their key lime, okay, and larapa is what they call their basil. So I just repeated it for recall. Tom yum is your hot sour soup with fragrant herbs. Okay, so it's flavored with your lemongrass and kaffir lime. Kaffir is spelled as Kaffir. Okay, so kaffir lime. That's very popular in Thai cuisine. Pad Thai. So that's your stir-fried rice noodles with eggs, tofu, tamarind pulp, nampla, shrimp, red chili, and sugar served with lime wedges and chopped roasted peanuts. So in Indonesia and Malaysia, you have gado-gado. So that's a term for medley or a mix of seasonal vegetables with peanut dressing and served with prawn crackers. Okay. So nasi goreng, Chinese-inspired dish by frugal Indonesian cooks made from leftover rice. Mi goreng from fried noodles. Satay is a dish of seasoned, skewered, and grilled meat. Still in Indonesia and Malaysia, you have your soto ayam, which is chicken in turmeric soup. Okay, so I would think it's like our tinola, but then it's highly seasoned. In Singapore, you have your Hainanese chicken. Okay, so this is your poached chicken in light soy sauce. Kopi luwak, okay, or your civet coffee. Okay, it's a very expensive type of coffee. So these um because of this is harvested by your civet cat. Okay, so the civet would pick the ripest coffee coffee fruit, and then their fecal matter would contain their feces would contain the coffee beans, which is then used for the kopi luwak. Vietnam, so again, they have a particular grouping for hot and cold foods. They make use of banana or lotus leaves. They prefer harmony of ingredients, and their harmony of ingredients are thought to help blood circulate and prevent disease. Ban is Vietnamese for cake or bread. Ban chang is your sticky rice, pork and mung beans wrapped in leaves. Ban mi is your baguette with mayonnaise, cold cuts, pickled daikon, carrots, cucumber garnished with coriander and seasoned. Okay. Pho Okay, so this is the Vietnamese noodle soup. The spring rolls, they call it koi con. Okay, so the Vietnamese spring rolls with vermicelli, basil, cilantro, lettuce, shrimp wrapped in rice wrapper. Nok sham is what they call their dipping sauce. So every good Vietnamese cook needs to master this dipping sauce. It's composed of lime juice, sugar, water, fish sauce, garlic, clove that is minced, and your Thai chili. In South Asia, that's Bangladesh, Pakistan, India, Nepal, and Sri Lanka, you have garam masala. Okay, so they're largely vegetarian. Very few foods eaten throughout India, but they have a lot of flavors, herbs, and spices. Spices, to be more specific. So they have a curry blend of coriander, cumin, fenugreek, turmeric, black pepper, cayenne, cloves, cardamom, and chili peppers in their garam masala. Curry and chutney. So fruit, it's your chutney is composed of fruit, vinegar, sugar, and spices. Samosa. Okay, so this is fried or baked dish with savory filling, like your empanada. Vindaloo is your meat with tamarind juice, lemon juice, masala paste. Dal is your dish with legumes, onions, and spices. And yogurt with cucumber is also commonly served. Roti or chapatis, they're thin tortilla-like bread. Naan is their leavened, oven-baked flatbread, so semi-leavened, I should say. Pakora is any vegetable deep fried in chickpea batter. So they use chickpea batter. So that's what you see in upper left, in your upper left-hand corner. So this one is your pakora. And biryani is your mixed rice dish. So you have there, I think, chicken mixed in your biryani. Australia, so you have pavlova, Anzac biscuits, and lamington. Pavlova is your meringue-based dessert, topped with fruit and whipped cream. Anzac biscuits, your rolled oats, flour, sugar, butter, syrup. Lamington, your squares of sponge cake coated in an outer layer of chocolate sauce and rolled in your desiccated coconut. So before I start with African food, African dishes, so here's a video again that I would want to share with you from YouTube.
Africa is huge. Like, really, really huge. The land masses of the US, China, India, the UK, and Japan could all fit on the continent, with room to spare. Cramming the cuisines of 54 countries together under the umbrella term African food is pretty imprecise. Here are a few dishes that show off the flavor of each region. Tagine mixes indigenous North African flavors with European and Arabian influences. A spice mix called Ras El Hanout brings the fire to this intense stew, softened by the sweetness of cinnamon and dried fruit. Jollof is a comfort dish popular in West Africa. Rice boils in a pot along with whole tomatoes, tomato paste, onions, and blazing Scotch bonnet peppers. It's a jambalaya-like meal all its own, but it's even better when served with yassa, a spicy dish of succulent meat with caramelized onions, lemons, and mustard. If a city outside of Africa only has one African restaurant, it's likely that restaurant serves Ethiopian food. Dorawat, a slow-simmered stew of chicken and eggs made with fiery bearberry, is one of the many earthy East African stews made to be sponged up with torn-off pieces of injera bread. Cooked far from coasts and ports, Central African cuisine is made using nearby whatever ingredients are native to the region. Fufu, a gooey, doughy ball of pounded cassava root, serves as an edible utensil for scooping up spicy stews and peppery soups. Sometimes called the rainbow cuisine, South African dishes blend European, Asian, and indigenous flavors, and nothing better harmonizes these flavors than the national dish, baboorti, a moussaka-like casserole of minced meat, curry leaves, and golden brown baked eggs.
So I hope you appreciate that short video. So I would just be reiterating some of the dishes that they have mentioned. So good eating in Africa is based on simple preparation that makes the most of what is available. So as mentioned, so they have what, or the stew prepared with a stew type of stew prepared with chicken or beef. Injera is a spongy textured bread which is slightly sour. Fufu was also mentioned. So starchy vegetables and root crops including yams, plantains, cassava, sweet potato, and potatoes are boiled, then pounded to a paste. So palm oil is predominant. Most dishes are preferred spicy, thick, and sticky or mucilaginous. Legumes are also popular. Nuts and seeds are frequently used to flavor and thicken sauces. So again, a mash of yam, cassava, or plantain is called fufu. Ugali is your maize, millet, or sorghum flour cooked to a porridge. Okay, so that's a national food of Kenya. Seksu or couscous is coarsely ground semolina. So I hope you remember this from our meal management discussion. Moistened and tossed with fine wheat flour, couscous. Beriberi is also mentioned in the video. Beriberi is composed of whole spices which are toasted and ground. Piri piri, okay, so that's spice with a Portuguese roots. Tej is a national drink of Ethiopia. Okay. Mead is honey wine. Now tahini is your crushed sesame seed paste. This is also popular in Africa. Fricadelle or your meatballs prepared with onion, bread, eggs, vinegar, and spices. Boboti, no, as mentioned, is a meatloaf flavored with curry and topped with an egg-based topping. Okay, so what you have on top is your tahini, your sesame seed paste. The fricadelles is your meatballs, the one that you see and at the bottom, and your boboti would be the one on your right. Okay, it's yellowish because of the curry flavor. Okay, other food trends that we need to know. Okay, that might be asked: matcha, finely ground green tea; Thai tea, strongly brewed black tea spiced with star anise; crushed tamarind, cardamom, sweetened with sugar and condensed milk, served over ice. So that's Thai tea. Chai tea, um, this is spiced tea, spiced with cardamom, cinnamon, ginger, cloves, and pepper. Boba milk tea is your bubble tea or your pearl milk tea. Subs and hoagies. So these are submarine sandwiches. Quinoa, grain crop. I've introduced this one earlier, or pseudopod wheat alternative. It's a pseudopod. Poke is a Hawaiian raw fish salad. Verb to cut. Okay, so that's what poke means. Slice or section. Okay, so it means to cut, slice, or section. Poke. Kale is your leaf cabbage. It's now widely being studied because of its antioxidant content, okay, because of its nutritional value. Turmeric, okay, so we call this one luyang dilaw. It's peppery, warm, bitter flavor with a mild fragrance reminiscent of orange and ginger. Chia seeds, so these are tiny black seeds related to the mint family. Okay, so for the health buffs, so they use chia seeds because the seeds um would expand once in your stomach, so it would give you a fuller feeling for a long time. Since it's pandemic, you could only imagine if I could go anywhere right now, I would go to match it with a dish to eat. So there you go. So before I wrap up our discussion in international cuisine, I found another interesting video that would conclude international cookery. So this is in the context of school lunches. No? because my major is on developmental psychology and child nutrition. So this piqued my interest. So I just wanted to share this with you because this is like a cross between international cuisine and child nutrition. Okay, so let's see.
Whether carrying a brown bag from home, picking up a tray from the lunch person, or serving up the food themselves, lunchtime at school can be one of the most important parts of a child's day. Let's take a look at what kids around the world eat for lunch. French students can expect up to a 4-course meal at lunch. They begin with a salad of fresh veg, followed by quality protein like salmon with a side of roasted broccoli. They wouldn't be French without a course of soft cheeses, jam, and fresh bread. And kids finish with a sweet confection like marzipan before heading back to class. In Japan, kids aren't served healthy meals, they serve them. To teach healthy cooking, kids take turns helping to cook, serve, and clean up for their peers. Meals are heavy on rice, vegetables, and fish. Students in Nigeria are fed well-balanced meals each day. Meals could include smoky, tomatoey jollof rice with chicken and steamed veg. Finland was the first country in the world to provide free lunch to every student, and the law ensures high nutrition standards. Veggies like beetroot salad and roasted turnips take up at least half the plate. Starches and grains such as a crepe topped with slightly tart lingonberry jam take up 1/4, and a protein such as haranuko, a split pea soup topped with smoked ham, takes up the other. Crisp bread is served on the side. In South Korea, students eat off steel trays sectioned out for perfect portion sizes. The bigger section is for rice, the circle holds soup, and the smaller portions are for tangy, spicy kimchi, some veggies, and meat like marinated strips of pork shoulder called jeukbokkeum. With a large Orthodox population in Ethiopia, meals are largely plant-based. An array of foods like spicy lentils, zucchini, and yellow split pea soup called kik alicha are eaten with injera, a fermented flatbread. Thanks to the island's burgeoning farm-to-school program, kids in Hawaii can expect meals made from scratch with local, fresh ingredients, such as a chicken stir-fry with veggies and fresh-baked bread on the side. Ukrainian kids get their lunch in 3 courses. First, a soup course such as borscht, a hearty beef-based soup with cabbage and red beets to give it a vibrant color, followed by meat and starch like grilled sausages with potato and cheese-stuffed dumplings called vareniki. They finish sweet with a shortbread biscuit. A lunch tray in the US could include a gooey grilled cheese on crunchy whole grain bread with creamy tomato soup, carrot sticks, fruit like a box of raisins and an apple, and a brownie for dessert before heading back to class. Italian students run to the cafeteria to receive a 2-course meal, and if these kids reside in Rome, the meal must by law be 70% organic. Primo is the pasta course, while protein and a veg like grilled chicken with a tasty mozzarella and tomato salad is served for secondo. According to the World Food Program, Thai students receive the most nutritional lunches in all of Asia. Kids can expect a balanced meal like grilled chicken, rice, and an antioxidant-packed spicy sweet green papaya salad. Families in China pay a monthly fee of about 70 cents per day for children to receive a boxed lunch. Inside, kids can find rice, meat, and vegetables. Food is a constitutional right in Brazil, which means schools are required to provide students with healthy meals with 30% of ingredients sourced from local farmers. Kitchen staff cooks fresh foods like frittatas loaded with veggies, paired with hearty rice and beans, and a piece of fruit. Kids in India show up to school with a tiffin box, a stackable metal container filled with a home-cooked meal. What's inside depends on the region. Northern Indian kids might enjoy parathas, seasoned flaky bread accompanied with bundi raita, crispy gram flour balls floating in a sea of spiced yogurt. Kids in Guatemala go home for lunch, where they'll eat dishes like pasta in a tomato sauce with beets and tortillas. With classes 6 days a week, school in Israel finishes before lunchtime, but kids do bring a shat isur, a morning meal, which could be a small snack like pita with hummus and a hard-boiled egg. Kids in Trinidad and Tobago might be served rich and gelatinous oxtail stew for lunch paired with bussap, soft and flaky shreds of roti. Students in Hong Kong can expect a veggie like steamed broccoli alongside wok-fried pork slices and white rice. A kid in the UK might be served baked cod fingers with a hot jacket potato, a heaping side of beans, and a handful of chocolate biscuits for dessert. In Mexico, Mexico, instead of a meal, kids might bring along a morning snack such as a torta layered with spicy bean dip, sliced ham, tomato, and fresh, crisp lettuce. Australian kids eat lunch outside, bringing food from home or buying meals from a cafeteria or street vendor. Food can include classic takeaway comforts like a sausage roll, pork sausage wrapped snugly in puff pastry, with a couple sweet chocolate biscuits called Tim Tams for dessert. Norwegian schools don't have cafeterias, so kids bring a light lunch from home, which could include an open-faced sandwich with liverwurst, a sausage of pork liver blended with bold spices like cardamom, coriander, and mace. The meat's texture is almost spreadable, close to pate, and is accompanied by toppings like mustard and cheese. Milk and fresh fruit is provided by the school. Although students bring a home-cooked lunch daily, teachers in Pakistan are known to contact parents if meals don't err on the healthy side. Kids might bring a lugosht, a stew of lamb and potatoes paired with roti and a sweet and creamy mango lassi in the summer. So, which type of school lunch do you want to try? Are there any we missed? Let us know in the comments below.
So I hope you found the video interesting. So that's how we can actually apply our knowledge on international cuisine to planning for meals and also school lunches. So with that, that ends my presentation. So if you do have questions, please do not hesitate to ask, and I hope to answer all of them. So thank you for listening. Hello, hello.
Okay. Thank you. Thank you, ma'am. Okay, if you have questions, okay, but first we have to tackle the questions sent in the Zoom registration. Thank you for bearing with us now for this very long session because we have to discuss a lot of items. Um, Thank you also, Ma'am Anna, for the wonderful lecture. No? Okay. First question: how to familiarize with different cuisines? If you have
You
any tips, ma'am.
you have to start with the flavor profiles. For me, when I was studying for local and international cuisine, well, you're lucky, no? Kasi you have a lot of videos accessible to you. You have your magazines, you have your journal articles, you have your notes to go back to. By the way, because I am a visual learner, so I work best when I see pictures and photos. So whenever you find an unfamiliar term, no, in especially in international cuisine, look for the photos. It can help you remember, it can help you memorize. So start with the flavor principles first. Kaya lagi kaming are there chilies? Are there spices? Coconut milk, sauces, stocks, okay? Kasi yun yung mga keywords. And then the dishes will follow. Okay? But I've always believed in multisensorial learning, no, Chef Ian. I know that you can relate to what I am talking about. Iba yung reading, iba yung listening, iba yung tasting. No, if you do have an opportunity to taste flavors, no, malungkot lang kasi right now we are limited to what is available or can be ordered online. So tikman nyo. Okay, if there's an unfamiliar dish, it can help you remember. Okay, of course, siguro hindi lang to tip para sa local international cuisine. You make use of acronyms. That helps for me. Okay, so everything that starts with the letter A, B, C, D, and then sulat lang ng sulat. Walang shortcut sa pagme-memorize ng local international. Okay? Yes, sige, Chef Ian.
Okay, follow up doon sa chat ngayon. Ano po ang national dish ng Pilipinas? Adobo or sinigang?
Baka baka magalit sa akin ang ang National Association of Restaurants in the Philippines at ang Department of Tourism. I don't think that we do have a national dish, no, to start with. Because kung naaalala ninyo, with our discussion, just contextualizing it in our regional cuisine,
lahat tayo nagluluto ng adobo across dishes. Across regions rather. Lahat tayo nagluluto ng sinigang. No? Iba't iba lang ng tawag. Even internationally, tom yum is like sinigang. No? So kaya I don't think that we do have one national dish. No? Wag natin yan pag-awayan. Basta alam nyo kung ano yun. And that's what's important.
Okay, kaya nga nagka-problema sa DTI dun sa
I know.
dun sa pag-standardize daw ng adobo. Yeah. Next is origin of every food in the Philippines. Wow. Sige, ma'am.
Medyo mahirap yan because 'di ba? It's a cross between history, geography, topography. So kaya ang ganda na laging pinagtatabi natin ang regional cuisine at international cuisine. So you see a lot of resemblance in our neighboring countries, Southeast Asian countries, to the ones who have conquered, 'di ba? Like from the dietary revolutions, 'di ba, meron tayong spice trade. So dahil tayo yung mayaman sa resources, dinala sa atin, kaso dinala din nila yung spice sa kanila. So mahirap i-trace, and it would be, I think, ambitious to say that kung ano man yung nag-originate kung saan. Even with alcoholic beverages, it's still a contention saan ba talaga nagsimula o nagmula ang vodka, for instance. So it's difficult really to identify the origin. Even Bicol Express, 'di ba? Bicol Express, they say it originated in Manila, but then it was popularized in Bicol because of the name and because of the ingredients therein. So yan. So medyo contentious siguro if I would say one dish originates from a particular place. But yung pinresent ko kanina were all iconic dishes. So if you go to those regions, yan yung mga iconic dishes na makikita ninyo.
Thank you for that. Okay, tandaan nyo lang lagi na ang cuisines at dishes ay influence ng maraming factors like what ma'am said, okay? So, tips on how to remember cuisines. Nabanggit mo na ba ito kanina?
Yeah, I think I've mentioned that.
Right. Next is what national regional dish cuisines would most likely be asked in the board exam or were asked in the previous exams?
Well, if my memory serves me right, I remember stocks and sauces, kasi I mean these are the basic ones. I know I've presented too many. Far too many, kaya nga sabi ni Chef Ian, super overtime, far too many dishes because I don't know what will be asked. Ang importante naman sa board exam, pag na-encounter nyo, narinig nyo, at least it's not your first time encountering the dish. Like during my time when I was taking the exam na merong mga international terms like minestrone, gazpacho, parang ako, saan siya galing? Saan ko siya nabasa? Okay, so at least may recall. What is important in the board exam, which I think was mentioned during your inspirational message, during the opening program, is that you read and you read. Kasi you have to encounter the term even just once to be able to go back to it. Ang problem kasi, pag hindi natin siya nabasa, at all, class, walang huhugutan. Okay, so yun kasi siya. Okay, so you just read and read and read because there's no guarantee. Depende din kasi minsan on your examiners kung ano yung strengths nila. So so hindi natin alam, especially now that it's pandemic, so special cases. So I'm not really sure what's going to appear. But again, you'll never go wrong with the basic ones. Soups, stocks, sauces, okay? And yung mga, kanina nakita ko sumasagot kayo sa chat. So I guess yung mga alam na ninyo, like, you can guess already yung ano ba yung mga nabasa ko kanina, na nasasagot nyo naman, samgyupsal, well, common knowledge ba yun right now? But yung samgyupsal, the xiaolongbao, okay? So those are common items, na I think wouldn't be missed.
Okay, thank you. Okay, hi Ma'am Aurelio. Can you name po some locally grown or produced food items or raw materials made known internationally?
To say locally grown, hindi lang kasi tayo yung because like for example, malunggay, we have always thought that we are large producers of moringa, but moringa is available in all Southeast Asian countries, for example. No, that's why specific scientific names ang ginagamit natin when we talk about our local produce kasi lagi siyang may kapareho. No, even our indigenous berries, I've learned from the professorial lecture share of Dr. Atienza, we have local varieties of internationally known berries, for example, like mulberries, we have our own. So, mahirap mag-identify ng mga locally grown. Bakit? Kasi we share similar geography and topography with our neighboring countries. Okay, so I don't think right now that we have like one specific unique local produce that is just grown in the Philippines.
Ako hindi ko alam kung tayo lang ang nagagawa, pero ang na-recall ko is one premium lambanog. They call it coconut vodka. No, it's being sold in the US. It's made by the Filipinos. Vuco ang name ata ng, they call it coconut vodka, but it's lambanog. Ayan. So
but you see, still coconut is like
coconut
everywhere.
is
But
everywhere.
we are
Correct.
producer of the product.
Yeah.
No, we market, we merchandise, we export the product.
Yeah. I think that's the goal of DTI in wanting to standardize adobo. Parang ganyan yung gusto nila. Pero they failed kasi dish mismo yung gusto nilang standardize, hindi ingredient, no?
Very
Okay.
difficult.
Yeah. Okay, so one example of California menu is hotel room service. As our restaurants, fast food open 24/7 considered California type of menu? If not, what are other examples?
You know what? Let me start first with the terminology California. No, so this is saying that it's California menu is quite limiting because when the term was coined, they are pertaining to California menu like light fare, sandwiches, cut fruits, which is available no throughout the day. Thus, I think that's where the question is coming from, yung mga 24/7 natin. Kasi right now, the definition evolved into breakfast items being served whole day. That was coined as California menu. So if the question is, can restaurant menus be considered California menu? Yes. They can be considered California. It is an example, but right now, hindi na natin masyadong ginagamit yan, yung California. Ang sinasabi na lang natin, all-day breakfast menu, for instance. Okay? But yes, it is applicable.
Okay, thank you. Difference between Thai and Viet coffee, chatted kanina.
Thai
parang dun sa slide mo kanina was Thai was served with condensed milk. Pero dun sa parang nakita ko kanina sa net is Viet ang condensed milk. But
and the Thai is and the Thais are fond of adding other spices to their coffee. Versus versus your Vietnam coffee. And if you know that, I don't know, I just don't have the name right now. Yung dinidrip coffee nila on the table.
Yung filter.
Yes, the filter, the solo cup filters that they have for Vietnamese coffee. I think that's unique. So I think it's in the method. Two, Thais use a lot of spices, not to flavor their coffee. But both of them, you're correct. Kung sino man na nagtanong, you're correct in sino nagtanong?
Sorry, hindi ko nakuha yung name dun.
Para ma-shout out naman natin yung mga nagtatanong. Oo. So, ako po ma'am, hi Jana. Hi Jana. Yes, but both of them do use milk. And milk is used to neutralize among the Thais. Milk is used to neutralize the spiciness of their food.
Also, both coffees are very strong coffees, so that's why they put milk and lots of sugar, no? Okay. Ano pa ba? May questions pa dito. Okay, difference of smorgasbord to charcuterie, are they interchangeable?
Very similar, but I would say that smorgasbord is strict to the Scandinavian cuisine. No, charcuteries can be used by the French, can be used by other European countries. But in based on the definition, no, I'll be a little bit bookish right now, no. Although in layman's term, 'di ba, halos nagbabalik-baliktad yung mga charcuterie, smorgasbord, even buffet, no? Before, buffet and smorgasbord are interchangeable. So I would like to be siguro a little bit bookish right now and just say smorgasbord is limited to Scandinavian cuisine.
Yeah. If I may add, ang alam kong charcuterie ibig sabihin is mostly cold preparations, no? So yan yung mga sausages mo, may mga gelée, you know, may mga pate yan. So mostly parang limited siya dun sa cold prep na food. Okay, may mga messages dun sa registration sa Zoom about yesterday's session. So I'll read the question and then from what Ma'am Faye sent, no, as the answer. So I just want to clarify something regarding putrefaction. At one part, the book it states that the anaerobic, and at one part naman po it states that it's aerobic. So which one is correct po? So putrefaction is basically a term given to decay and it usually involves protein. It can either be aerobic or anaerobic. So that's what Ma'am Faye said. Okay. Another one is, what does this statement mean? Tenderizing and flaming as in larding of mechado and other meat dishes. So it's on page 68, tama ba, of the manual. I think it was misplaced, no, sa pag-edit ng manual. It should be part of the properties of fat, no? So kasama yung tenderizing and flaming sa fat properties. Okay? And then, what does fat crystals mean? And why the smaller the crystal, the higher the melting point and more plastic? That's on page 65. So, ang ibig sabihin lang noon ay fat crystals are basically just solidified fat or those that are in the temperature below their melting point. So, difference with others is that they form a crystalline matrix just as how sugar or water form this matrix during candy making and freezing, respectively. I know that you remember when fat is solid, right? Yes, so the more saturated the fat is, the more solid it is. So also, the longer the fatty acid chain, the more solid, right? And we know that this is a determinant of plasticity. With regards to melting point, I think it's the other way around. Melting point of fatty acids influence fat crystallization. So do you want to know where you can observe crystallized fat? In chocolate. You can even see them if you melt the chocolate, then refrigerate it again. The white powdery substance that you see there, that's fat bloom, no? So fat crystal. So pag may nakita kayong chocolate na may parang specks ng white, hindi yun molds, yan ay bloom o blooming ng fat ng chocolate kasi sudden change in temperature. Okay, so may add ka, Ma'am Ana? Wala na. Okay. Galing kay Ma'am Faye yung mga questions yan. Okay. If you have more questions, you can put them in the forum, no? And then we'll attend to them.
Siguro I'll just give some tips or Ian,
yeah,
no, before
go.
we leave. Kasi I'm really grateful for you, for everyone for staying, no, because this is an ambitious attempt to
Off the
discuss.
record ba? On the record?
Sige, let's just turn it off, no? Off the record na lang.
Okay.
Oo. This is just
so good for the ones who are here live, no? Okay, I'll pause the recording.
You know what? Ang maganda kasi sa computations natin, you have your calculators with you. So, sa dulo na lang kayo mag-round off. I always suggest sa dulo na lang kasi very minimal ang change pag sa dulo kayo nag-round off. Plus, I don't remember any choice na masyadong malapit in terms of decimal places. Okay? Di ko lang alam ngayon, but then, if my recall serves me right, hindi naman nagmamali ng per decimal place. Kasi alam naman natin that there are a number of ways to answer a problem. You can go long cut, you can go shortcut, depending on your table of equivalents. Okay, so kaya wala naman, wag kayong masyadong ma-stress sa decimal point. The concept here, what I'm trying to emphasize here is that just know your formula. Know your formula. Okay, kasi yun naman palagi yung babalikan. Sige, so pwede na siguro tayong mag-off the record ulit, sir. For the rest of my siguro advice for advice ko, Sir Ian. Goods kayo dyan. Oo, tayo sa pagtuyo. Naka-mute ka, sir?
Sorry. Is it common po na Tagalog and Visayan dish names are compared? Example, paksiw, inu, inun, onan. I notice it a lot po kasi in the mock test. Or are there also other central PH languages we should consider for equivalence?
Not really, no? Hindi naman pinagtatabi-tabi. The only reason that we do that is for memorization. That would help you get familiarized with the dishes. Oo, kaya pinagsasama-sama yung medyo similar, yung medyo comparable, okay? Para lang matulungan kayong mag-memorize. Oo, kasi ang dami-daming mga ingredients dyan. Extra sheets. Are we given extra sheets? No, I really cannot answer that right now kasi hindi ko alam yung sa dati kasi, ba? Hindi ko talaga maalala, no, if we were given extra sheets kasi parang manual checking kami. Because right now it's computerized, so you should not have markings on your test paper. So I would think so, yes.
Okay, any other questions from our participants? Ma'am, kayo po yun. When did you stop trying to memorize study before the exam?
Praning kasi ako eh. So I kept on studying and stopped studying until the last minute. Alam niyo alam niyo kung ano yung nakakalito? Yung kapag nag-group study na, tapos ang dami-dami yung naririnig, I think more than me myself, I'm studying on my own. Pag yung last minute, although maraming natututo sa gano'n, no? Yung throwing of, information last minute. Pero if you can do group discussions like a day before, para rested kayo, let your mind be, at saka may time kayo mag-validate ng mga pinagpalit-palit ninyong mga Q&A. By the way, that helps. Oo. But that doesn't help a minute before the exam. Yung group studying, that helps. Yung nagsusrow kayo ng questions at one another kasi nakikita ninyo ano ba yung nabasa niya, hindi ko nabasa, alam niya, hindi ko alam. There you help each other. But don't do that an hour before the exam. I suggest on the exam day you relax. Wag na mag-review. Oo, kasi although kung yun nga, depende kasi kung gumagana yun sa inyo. Student ko ba to? Kung gumagana na an hour before, si Kathleen, no? So, kung gumagana siya an hour before sa inyo, I do discourage that kasi iba yung coverage nyo ngayon. The coverage before during your undergrad is very different from your coverage right now. At kung papaano tinetest ang patients nyo ngayon sa ating mga review sessions, ganoon din on the yung mismong exam. At saka ito pa pala, no? Don't give up on test questions. Yung parang 'di ba sometimes we have that attitude, no, na parang hala pagod na ako, bahala na. Hala, don't do that in the board exam. Okay? Try your best to be as energetic until the end of the exam. So again, going back to reviewing, you do that the day before, at least a day before, and then get a good night's sleep, relax. Okay? Yung iba sa inyo magko-commute pa papunta sa test areas, baka sa sobrang sabaw, lumagpas kayo, mas stressful yon. Okay? So, yeah. Make sure you're rested on the day of the exam.
Okay, any other questions, guys? Baka may gusto pa kayong tanungin.
By the way, habang nag-iisip sila ng tanong, na I'm really, really happy to see all of you again. It's been It's been a while since we did HNF 111, since we did meal management and local international cuisine. I missed you guys. I hope we can do this face to face, but yeah.
Okay.
I know, sila pala yung batch. Sorry, sir, Sila
Sige,
pala yung 7 a.m. sa VetMed. Yeah, I know. Very memorable batch. Hello there.
Okay, so before we proceed to the next step, award tayo ng certificate kay ma'am.
By the way, if they do have questions, they can shoot it in the forum, no?
Yeah.
Sir Ian, Chef Ian, and Chef Ian will just communicate it with me. If we are friends in Facebook, just message me. I do answer. Oo, may mga nagtatanong sa akin last minute, no? Mag-e-exam na yata. Ma'am Aurelio, can you define what English service is? Hala, parang ako yung mag-e-exam. Oo, medyo kinabahan ako doon. Wag lang the day before the exam, ha? Baka hindi ako masyadong makakonsentrate para sa inyo. Okay,
so I'll read the citation. Institute of Human Nutrition and Food, College of Human Ecology, University of the Philippines, Los Baños awards this certificate of appreciation to Prof. Ana Teresa O. Aurelio in grateful recognition of her generously sharing her invaluable time and expertise as resource person on the topic of meal management and local international cuisine for the 12th Food, Nutrition, and Dietetics Review course given this 38th day of July 2021. Signed, Reseline Baina Mariano, Project Leader. Amy Sherry Barrion, overall organizer and director of HNF, and Ricardo M. Sandalo, Dean of College of Human Ecology. Thank you so much, ma'am.
Thank you. Thank you for staying. Thank you.
Guys, you can turn on your cameras para we can have our pictorial. Yay! Cara, okay ka na?
Yes, hello, sir. Nice to see faces. Yay! Kahit nakapambahay. And with the cat there. Hello. Yan. Hold on to your cats.
Yes. On your cue or ikaw ba
Yes, sige. Yes,
sige.
sir. Nakaready na.
Okay, guys. On
cam.
Cue. Okay.
Hi to Carl's cat. 10 pages to, guys.
Okay.
Smile. Just keep smiling. Okay. 4th. Ang dami naka-off cam.
Makain na sila.
Nakakagutom kasi yung lecture mo, mami. Smile! Hindi ready yung iba. Miss Katanyag. Smile! Okay, last page. Okay.
All right. Thank you so much,
Bye.
Sarah.
Bye. Ingat kayo lagi. Ingat kayo. Stay
Thank you,
safe.
ma'am.
Stay away from
Salamat
COVID.
po.
Bye.